Sports Professor Rick Horrow, welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard, the inside look at the trillion-dollar sports business from a marketing, legal, business, deal-making perspective, given what just happened at Super Bowl 51, a sociological and anthropological perspective when people land from another planet and look at our time machine 4,000 years from now. They will see Tom Brady, the Roger Goodell handshake with Robert Kraft, and the indelibly etched 7th Super Bowl, 5th Brady win that everybody now uses as mantra all over New England, all over the country, and I dare say all over the planet, maybe the solar system. So now we morph into other things. NHL getting ready for basically the second half of its season and more Winter Classics, NBA All-Star Weekend in New Orleans, the NASCAR season opening with the Daytona 500, college pay-per-play litigation in the courtrooms. We'll have a whole lot of that stuff coming up. But this week on Beyond the Scoreboard, we do some reflection. White House visits, Pop Warner youth football, and the like. The NFL turns its attention to the routine and not-so-routine challenges. Whether or not you were thrilled with the Patriots' 5th NFL championship in the 2000s, or feel they've officially now assumed the New York Yankees' role as the evil empire of sports. Once this offseason starts, all 32 franchises return to a neutral playing field to hammer out their most pressing business issues. At the top of the 2017 list, 2 major challenges: resolving the league's franchise relocation issues out west and beginning to think about restructuring the existing CBA now at the halfway mark of its 10-year term. While 5 years out may seem like it's too premature to plan for the next round of NFL, NFLPA, CBA negotiations, after he handed the Patriots the Lombardi Trophy, Commissioner Roger Goodell should now be able to put Deflategate squarely in the rearview mirror and focus on league business, including relocation, early CBA strategizing, declining ratings, and international expansion. Peter O'Reilly, the head of NFL special events, not just Super Bowl, Combine, Draft, Pro Bowl, and the like. What was the risk of putting on a major event like this, and was it worth it? Certainly a lot to cover. Beyond the Scoreboard, up next.
It's Eric Newton here from Together.Guide with your Together Minute. Do you really need to ask about repairing that screen door the moment your partner gets home from work? Is it really so critical to talk about the money issues just when you're trying to both rush out that door? Probably not. Now, it is true that you do need space to bring up issues that are important to you. The skill here is in effectively creating that space. One trick is the 2+2. Create a regular time to sit down with no distractions. Each of you brings up 2 issues that are working great and 2 issues that, frankly, could be a little better. Now, this can be tricky because it's easy to get defensive, but if you come at it from the perspective that you're making things better, you'll get over the hurdles. The point is to be proactive about your timing. It just makes everything work more smoothly when you do that. This is Eric Newton from the Together Podcast. To learn about our show, visit our website at www.together.guide. The Together Minute is brought to you by Match.com. 1 in 3 relationships start online, and more start on Match than any other dating site. So if you're single and looking to meet people, you've got to get on Match. They're not only number 1 in first dates, but in second dates too. Meeting your match has never been easier. Just go to Match.com/together, and for a limited time, you can try Match for 7 days free. That's 7 days completely free to search and connect with thousands on Match. So go ahead, create your account now at Match.com/together. That's Match.com/together.
When it's time to get busy on Valentine's Day, celebrate your date the Trojan way. We got condoms galore, but wait, there's more. Buy one, get one half off at the store. Bearskin, Magnum, ends, whatever. As long as you're wearing one when you're together, just wrap it up, wrap it up. On Valentine's Day, make sure you wrap it up. Buy any 10 or 12 count box of Trojan condoms at your local Walgreens and get a second box of equal or lesser price half off with your Balance Rewards card starting January 29th until February 25th. Wrap it up, wrap it up. Trojan.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow with Beyond the Scoreboard. 12 cities formally applied for MLS expansion bids, but only 4 of these hopeful markets will eventually land a team in this next round. Cincy, Charlotte, Detroit, Indy, Nashville, Phoenix, Raleigh, Sacramento, St. Louis, San Antonio, San Diego, and Tampa, all vying to join the league. The bid groups include owners with interests in the NFL, NBA, and MLB, while 8 have interest in teams in the NASL and USL. An MLS expansion committee is expected to begin interviewing and reviewing applications later this month, focusing on 3 areas: ownership, stadium details, financial projections with corporate to soccer support. 2 of the selected franchises will hopefully begin play in 2020, with the other 2 to follow. Speaking of the 12 applicant cities, MLS Commissioner Don Garber said, "All great cities support proven leaders and passionate fans, and MLS now faces the standard trade-off of all leagues anywhere, significant expansion revenue and higher franchise values versus the long-term harm of overexpansion." The National Women's Soccer League will now have its games streamed on Lifetime after A&E Networks purchased an equity stake in the league. Weekly matches streamed on the network, and there are plans to launch NWSL Media, which will oversee live streaming of all matches. NWSL Media will serve as commercial branch of the league, overseeing its broadcast and sponsorship rights. It will also administer a new website and phone app. TV deal with NWSL and Lifetime set for 3 years, marking the top broadcast agreement in league history. Another part of the deal will see Lifetime's logo placed on all official league jerseys with a patch on the right sleeve. Due to the 4 p.m. Eastern slot that the NWSL games will have on Lifetime, the games and MLS games go head-to-head at least 10 times a year. Men's games air on ESPN. But Lifetime may have provided a lifeline to the league, which hopes the product and demographic appeal can carry the day and re-energize momentum. For thousands of current and former college students, a $6,000 check may soon be on the way thanks to the settlement of a far-reaching class action case on Friday. The NCAA and 11 Division I conferences agreed to create a nearly $209 million fund for the benefit of current and former D1 basketball and FBS student athletes, settling the monetary claims portion of a grant and aid class action lawsuit. The settlement, announced Friday, would be funded squarely and entirely from NCAA reserves, and no conference or member schools will be required to contribute. The settlement is subject to approval by the court and will award class members money up to but not exceeding their full cost of attendance. Other aspects of class action suits remain unresolved, including an effort to eliminate all restrictions on compensation for student athletes. While the NCAA has stated it will vigorously oppose all portions of the lawsuit seeking pay-for-play, the next stage of the process focuses on changing existing rules so collegiate athletes receive more compensation. Stay tuned. Pittsburgh Penguins center Sidney Crosby finished atop the list of best-selling NHL jerseys during the first half of 2016-2017. According to Yahoo Sports, Crosby's sensational 2016 campaign, one that included a Stanley Cup title last season and a spot in the top 3 of total points, resulted in him having the highest-selling jersey for all of 2016. Meanwhile, jersey sales for Toronto Maple Leaf center Austin Matthews through the first 3 months of the 2016-17 season reflect his status as a rookie sensation, as his sweater was the second highest-selling jersey on ShopNHL.com. Chicago Blackhawks winger Patrick Kane finished third on this year's list. Others, Blackhawks center Jonathan Toews, leading the NHL in jersey sales in 15, and Edmonton Oilers center Connor McDavid. The NHL is astronomical in health in many ways. Their superstars represent the younger demographic, Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, combined with the old guard of Crosby, Kane, and others. A good mix for the future. Time for a look at some of the big issues around sports this week, business, marketing, endorsements. And it's not just the Super Bowl, but there are some NFL issues, for example. They've scouted 4 Canadian stadiums in 2016 as candidate sites for NFL future regular season games. Rogers Centre, Olympic Stadium, Montreal, Commonwealth Stadium, Edmonton, BC Place Stadium in Vancouver, and obviously all 4 venues considered, confirmed by NFL Executive VP Mark Waller, primarily inviting and evaluating locker rooms, NFL technological standards. And Waller noted the NFL has not yet reached a conclusion on a Canadian venue, nor does it disclose findings of information missions, but it'll be heading back to Mexico this year, regardless of what happens north of the border. The Raiders and the Patriots, Estadio Azteca in Mexico City next season. My take is that it's inevitable and positive news by the NFL to expand its reach north of the border while continuing to work with the CFL. Other issues beyond football, 12 cities formally applied for MLS expansion bids. Only 4 of these hopeful markets eventually landing a team. Nashville, Indy, Cincy, Detroit, Charlotte, Sacramento, Phoenix, Raleigh, St. Louis, San Antonio, San Diego, and Tampa. Wow. All vying to join the growing domestic soccer league. The groups include owners with interests in the NFL, NBA, and MLB. 8 have interest in teams in the NASL and USL. Expansion Committee for the MLS expected to begin reviewing applications later this month, beginning play in 2020, 2 of them, and the other 2 to follow. Speaking of the 12 applicant cities, Commissioner Don Garber said, all great cities support proven leaders and passionate fans. And here's my take. The MLS now faces the standard trade-off that all leagues analyze: significant expansion revenues and higher franchise values versus the long-term harm of overexpansion. As some people like to say, not so fast, my friend. How about the NHL? Pittsburgh Penguins center Sidney Crosby finishes atop the list of best-selling NHL jerseys during the first half of 16-17. Crosby's sensational 16 campaign, one that included a Stanley Cup title last season and a spot of the top 3 of total points this season, resulted in him having the highest-selling jersey for all of 16. Meanwhile, jersey sales for the Leafs center Austin Matthews through the first 3 months of 16-17 reflect the status as a rookie sensation. His sweater, the second highest-selling jersey on shopnhl.com, and everybody who ever lived in Canada seems to have a Matthews Leaf jersey. Chicago Blackhawks center Patrick Kane finished 3rd on this year's list. He led the NHL in jersey sales back in 2014, but slipped after sexual assault allegations last season. And rounding at the top 5, Blackhawks center Jonathan Toews, who led in 2015, and Edmonton Oilers center Connor McDavid. And here's my take. NHL astronomical health in many ways. Their superstars represent the younger demographic, Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid, also in Canada, combined with the old guard of Crosby, Kane, and others. A really, really good mix for the future. Finally, college sports. For thousands of current and former student-athletes, a $6,000 check may soon be on the way, thanks to the settlement of a far-reaching class action case last week. The NCAA and 11 Division I conferences agreed to create a nearly $209 million fund for the benefit of current and former D1 basketball and FBS student-athletes, settling the monetary claims portion of a grant-in-aid class action lawsuit, according to the association. The settlement, announced in a Friday statement, funded entirely from NCAA reserves, and no conference or member schools required to contribute. Settlement is subject to approval by the court and will award class members money up to but not exceeding their full cost of attendance. Other aspects of the class action remain unresolved, including an effort to eliminate all restrictions on compensation for student-athlete. And here's my take. While the NCAA stated it will vigorously oppose all portions of the lawsuit seeking pay-for-play, The next stage of the process focuses on changing existing rules so collegiate athletes receive more compensation. Stay tuned. Now to the business of the NFL. Yeah, we played a game last weekend. Trenny Kuznerek, who's a frequent contributor on this podcast, weighs in on all aspects of football, pro, college, high school.
You use the blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. That's 800-223-0992.
Hey there, did you know that with a bachelor's degree, on average, you could make almost twice as much over a lifetime than a person with just a high school diploma? It's true. According to the 2012 U.S. Census Bureau, college grads with a bachelor's degree make almost twice as much as high school grads. Now, going back to school is easier than ever at Independence University. Log on and complete coursework from the park, or the beach, or even your couch watching the kids. And Independence University gives you the tools, a free tablet and laptop for undergrad students to use and keep when they graduate. That's right. Get a laptop so you can go to college from anywhere. Take the first step to a new career in business, information technology, healthcare, or graphic arts. Call to find the online degree program that's right for you, and you could be on your way to increasing your earning potential.
800-797-1256. 800-797-1256. That's 800-797-1256.
This is a health warning from Dr. Approved Medical, America's trusted resource for back braces. If you're 65 or older and suffering from back pain, you may qualify to receive an advanced pain-relieving back brace at little or no cost to you. Many people are now using our pain-relieving back brace as an alternative to surgery or harmful medications and experience pain relief that they haven't felt in years. Don't let your back pain turn into something worse. Remember, if you qualify for no money out of pocket, there's nothing to lose and only real pain relief to gain. Our friendly team of experts will handle all paperwork and will deliver it for free. Just call 800-507-1148. Your pain-relieving back brace may be covered by Medicare at little or no cost to you. Call our hotline now and get free shipping, plus a complimentary easy-to-use pedometer. 800-507-1148. 800-507-1148. 800-507-1148. Little to no cost with full insurance payment, copay, and deductible supply promo subject to qualification while supplies last.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard. This episode all about the NFL, all about Super Bowl, all about mega events. We take you back to our coverage of the NFL Draft 1 year ago when it was in Chicago. Here's Rick.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Show that doesn't take itself too seriously, but a serious show and a serious theme. Cara Backman, Executive Director of the Chicago Sports Commission. The Chicago native, a 2006 graduate of Colgate. She played Division I hockey, earned a master's degree on international business and finance from Loyola University in Chicago. She runs the bids for major events, including the significant impact in Chicago of the NFL Draft. Cara Backman.
Mega events front and center. Obviously, we focus on all of the major league sports on the regular season basis, but everybody understands how important mega events are. And for the second year in a row, Chicago hosts the 2016 NFL Draft, the weekend. Everybody excited about that, but a broader mandate, the Chicago Sports Commission, Department of Choose Chicago, which is the official destination marketing organization for the city of Chicago, economic impact, high-volume events, political events, really the key to bringing major events to the city. Cara Backman, how are you?
I'm great, Rick. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you very much. So how does somebody who plays rough and tumble hockey in upstate New York, undergrad, get ready for a rough and tumble political life as the chief event spokesperson for the city of Chicago?
Playing hockey, definitely, I would say, prepare you for a life working in sports in a big city. And, we're having a great time in Chicago doing just that.
And you can dish it out, too, I'm sure, which is really important because, one of the theories we have in sports business is that people seem to think it's all roses when it comes to bringing in events. But it is cutthroat competition for industry relocation or attraction like a sporting event or a widget company, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. I would say that also a good parallel and comparison that would be fair would be, what happens on the field of play, literally, and what happens in the, field of business that's tied to that field of play. When you're looking at the impact that certain events can bring to a city, the social benefits, positive impact it can bring to a community, there's all the reason that there'd be a lot of competition among cities and hosts. We talked about this, but the draft brought over 200,000 attendees into Grant Park over the 3 days. There's 8.8 million TV viewers and almost 37,000 room nights. So when you're looking at driving economic impact in the city, those are definitely statistics you want to see, and those are definitely numbers you'll fight to get into your city.
When you fight to get the draft for the first year, second year is maybe easier because you already have it, are you kind of given parameters of the kinds of packages and the bid package that you're willing to negotiate and how far you can go? Understood that it's like anything else when you attract business, but are you kind of given the perspective of how extra hard you can fight to attract these big events like any business?
I think to be vague, unfortunately, it is like any business where, you are weighing all the variables and, what risk do you want to take for what level of reward, and will you be able to obtain that reward? Will the risk you take pay off? Will the investment you take pay off? I think when you look at a brand like the NFL, which arguably one of the greatest marketing machines there ever is, potentially ever will be, there's, I'd say, a huge upside to being able to partner with them and allow them to do what they do in your city and watch your city benefit from something they've created over, for the draft over 50 years. So there's a lot of history. There's a lot of following. I would say the upside is massive. When you're looking at, a couple of events that We've hosted recently. We've had the New Zealand All Blacks come to Chicago, and we've hosted NCAA championships and Big Ten soccer, international soccer, international triathlon world championships, and people tell the story organically. They enjoy sport. Hosting sporting events creates an incredibly positive atmosphere in which people are discussing something relevant, discussing something positively, and showcasing the entire event, which in our case for the draft happens to be the gorgeous landscape and profile and skyline of our city. So when your conventions are extremely important business to us as well, but you don't see the same, of course, media attention or attendee kind of social engagement as you would see with the creation of a sports event.
The other piece of this specifically, and I know people are just trying to quantify it, you talk about the NFL draft bringing about $115 million of media marketing value, visibility Chicago otherwise would have not obtained. How do you quantify that, and how do you make people understand the importance of that, especially in the political and business arena?
So Choose Chicago has gone through a difficult time with a lot of budget and funding issues throughout government. We are a combination of private and public sector funds, and our budget has always been tight. We've always done a lot with a little, and entire operating budget of Choose Chicago.
And clearly people need to understand that as well. A couple more questions for Carl Bachman, Executive Director of Chicago Sports Commission. First, Olympics. Great bid, probably better than a lot of others. Everybody could argue politics, but this was really politics. Are you over the psychological issues? Do you feel like the Olympic bid process was a good one overall that you learned from and actually built a legacy from? What's your overall take of that process?
Rick, it was a huge learning experience and a huge uplifting, again, sport, creating that positive influence in an environment, in a community, and that's what the Olympics really meant to Chicago. It was an incredibly diverse bid, incredibly diverse group of people that came together with one goal of hosting the 2016 Olympic Games, and thanks to you, credit to you for arranging last week and having Jerry Colangelo join us. And, you heard it from Jerry himself and his experience. He originally from Chicago, his roots brought him back. He wanted to see the Olympic bid in Chicago. He came back, put in that effort, joined forces. So it was a unification within the community, but also, bringing incredible business leaders back to Chicago and wanting to see that dream come true. And yes, could be many reasons could be cited for why we didn't. But overall, there was a sting, and there always will be a little bit of sting, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that. But it's left Chicago in a better place, and we continue to champion the idea and the commitment we made to the IOC that Chicago is an Olympic city, and we will continue to strive to be an Olympic city. We'll do that by creating opportunity in sport, celebrating sport, continuing to promote the Olympic values, and giving opportunity to our youth in those Olympic sports.
Everybody doesn't like to lose, but you did it right, and obviously should be very, very proud of your accomplishment and everybody else's. Social responsibility, a couple more. A really important issue. We talked about it last week. Every major event, if done right, ought to have some kind of a legacy attached to it, and there are some social benefits that might not otherwise occur but for the business of bringing in those kind of events. How important is that to you?
It's really important, and again, I think the opportunity for that is limitless, and I think hosting events in multi-years definitely puts you in the position to do that. Yes, from an economic perspective, but certainly from a social responsibility, social impact, community impact benefit perspective. So once you get something, built, you have the foundation, what more can you do? And I think that's definitely an approach we've taken, and we're starting to see a lot of those benefits come to life with hosting the draft in a second consecutive year.
And awesome. Finally, speaking of the draft, and we broke the story last week, and I know you're going to announce it sometime between now and the first round of the draft, that the Bears are awarded an additional first-round pick for being the city that hosts the draft. So congratulations. Do we know what the Bears are going to do with that first pick?
No, yeah, they're keeping that pretty tight-lipped about that. We don't want to rub it in people's faces, so.
Everybody, listen, some people who are on the international receipt of this had no idea what we just said. That is not the case. And the bottom line of all of this is it's going to be a very successful draft because Carl Bachman is involved in it as well. Thanks a lot. Speak with you soon.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
My joints used to kill me. I'd wake up with stiff knees and a stiff back, and it wouldn't get much better throughout the day. I went to doctors and took almost every supplement you can think of, and nothing seemed to help. Then I found something called Oil Can Joint Lubricant. They use only top-of-the-line, all-natural ingredients, and I know many companies make similar claims, but here's the big difference. Oil Can ingredients are scientifically formulated to work together faster than anything else in the marketplace. That's guaranteed. I take Oil Can every day. My knee pain was gone in just a few days. So if you have knee pain, back pain, and you've tried everything, try Oil Can Joint Lubricant risk-free right now. I'm confident you'll have fewer aches and pains within days, or we will gladly refund your money. Call right now. 800-989-1795. 800-989-1795. 800-989-1795. 800-989-1795.
Beyond the scoreboard, Super Bowl 51 comes and goes, and with it, economic impact of a significant amount for the city of Houston and the region. General had to put on mega events by the league that is known as the Special Event and Economic Juggernaut, and the guy that's been running it is a veteran of the sports industry for 20 years. He joined the NFL in 2005. He played a senior role in New York City 2012. The Olympic bid, NBA production marketing department's career at ABC Sports. He got an MBA at the wrong side of the river, the Harvard Business School. We won't hold it against him. Peter O'Reilly, how's that for an intro?
Oh, wow, I'll take it, Rick.
Peter O'Reilly's job, basically running all things special events. And tell me broadly, special events meaning draft, Pro Bowl, et cetera, and Super Bowl. What else is in your portfolio?
Yeah, draft, Pro Bowl, Combine, kickoff, working very closly on the international game, especially as we went to Mexico this year, and then all of our big owners meetings. But really, Super Bowl, draft, combine, kickoff, Pro Bowl. So a good run of big moments throughout the year.
Your business is all about realistically delivering on expectations and appropriately managing all risks. That's overly simplifying, but comment on the kind of assessment of pulling off one of the biggest events in the planet.
Sure. For a Super Bowl like this one, where it's really a 3-year planning cycle, where you lay the foundation early, you really get the core elements. Where's the center of gravity? You know what you have in a stadium. You really get those elements set. And then as you come into that last year and those last 6 months, you really try to determine how do you each year try to take it to a next level. And that, for us, is certainly the game is huge, and that's, major focus both from a security standpoint, a significant driver on the revenue side, and that's the showcase. But it's really about the week-long experience. How do you create access for that fan who may not have a chance to be in the stadium? How do you bring that together? How do you create a hub of activity that really creates a real soul around the Super Bowl? So all of those things come into it. And to your point, Rick, it's about managing the risk, making sure we're being smart operationally, not taking on too much risk, but also each year pushing the envelope and making sure we're doing things that are worthy of the Super Bowl stage and make people say, wow.
I'm not an apologist for Peter O'Reilly or the NFL or its position, but I've had the honor of seeing the event handbook and how big it is and how many contingency plans are in there. This is certainly not like going to a neighborhood 7-Eleven and buying a six-pack of beer for your buddies. The planning of this is stupendous. Can you give us, anecdotally maybe, but give the international viewers and listeners some idea of the scope?
Yeah, when you think about 20,000 plus accredited people, that's what the staff really balloons to, who are playing a role, large or small, in the Super Bowl. You've got, from a security perspective, you're dealing with certainly everyone at the federal level, from Homeland Security and FBI all the way down to HPD and the local authorities. So those efforts and those contingencies and those exercises where you sit around the table with every local, state, national, federal figure, as well as all the operational people, and go through those plans is, it's significant. And the great part is we've got an incredible core team who has many Super Bowls under their belt and have seen a lot of different things and worked a lot of events around the world. But it's a unique one. Many other events are, multi-day, multi-week events. This is, all leads to one day, one big moment that is about the game on the field and the two best teams, but obviously there's a lot else that surrounds it. There's one of the biggest concerts of the year jammed into 13 minutes between the two halves that has a lot of complexity to it and a lot of fun to it. That's where I am right now at the stadium with rehearsals for Lady Gaga.
Are you singing or is she?
I'm going to leave that to her, Rick.
That's good. Well, we got Jamie Roots in a prior interview to actually do some singing for us as well. Jamie's and Rick Campo are interesting, good examples of the public-private business partnership it takes to put it on. Without being a little Pollyannish, you wouldn't have anything near the event you have without the host committee, Greater Houston Partnership, Texans, correct?
Absolutely. That is the core of the Super Bowl. They're the folks who bid on this game, had the vision for bringing the Super Bowl back to Houston, building on 2004 when this city was in a very different place. There's been incredible development, as you know, in Houston since 2004. The downtown is in a very different place, and that's thanks to people like Rick and Jamie and others who said, we're gonna take this on, we're gonna rally the community, and that's in so many different ways that comes to life. So that's so core. And leaders like Mayor Sylvester Turner, who is a great leader and inspirational and is part of it. So we at the NFL are incredibly grateful for those partners on the ground, because the Super Bowl is about locking arms with those people, coming up with a vision, and then seeing it through till this weekend.
How difficult is it to keep an ongoing interest on the projects that are started and committed by the host committee / NFL partnership after the game is gone?
Yeah, I mean that's a huge part of what we do, and we having that legacy component and not just here's the NFL's efforts over here and here's a host committee's efforts over here. When it works well, we've got a shared vision. We've got pooling our charitable commitments and our foundation dollars to make sure that the fields that we build, the spaces that we create, the opportunities that we create live on and have legs and are connected into the community, that the Texans are connected into those things. So that's a huge part of it. And it's, there is, a lot of major events have this, but Super Bowl certainly has it. It's a date certain. And if you look at downtown Houston, that Marriott Marquis, our headquarters hotel, was finished 3-4 weeks before everyone moved in. But we're going to get it done. Restaurants downtown, other spaces. That was a date certain to make sure that things were ready to go. And there'll be a legacy of other events seeing the heartbeat of the city that now exists in downtown Houston. And it'll attract other business and other big events, which they're excited about.
And Peter O'Reilly, you don't have the issue that Olympic chairmen of local committees have in terms of guaranteeing that the facilities are used because they're the host facilities of the NFL team that applies, but the infrastructure commitments, the transportation commitments that some Olympics work well with and some do not are issues that are particularly important to you too, I would guess.
They are. Certainly there's, from a stadium perspective, often we're improving with the owner of the stadium or the owner of the team to make sure we take it to its zenith on Super Bowl Sunday. But those other elements and making sure that the transportation infrastructure is there, that the elements that we need for all of the fan events, that a convention center, which often plays a significant role in the Super Bowl fan experience, is at its best during that Super Bowl. And then that remains beyond. And one of the things we often hear, which we love hearing around a Super Bowl, is it brings so many different pieces, whether that's the public safety community or the business community together, and then that lives on for the next big event or the next component, or there's glue that the white hot spotlight of the Super Bowl brings, and it allows it to continue on. And I'm excited to see that year after year as I go back to these cities where I've had Super Bowls.
Well, and also to make the case, post and pre, 500 or so million of economic impact is the number that Rick has been using or so. But the 3.5 billion media impressions and the awareness and mentions and quality of life and the synergy between people, it's often very hard to quantify but easy to understand, right?
It is. It's easy to understand. Certainly that direct economic impact is there. But it's also about, is when we sat down with Houston for the first time, they want to involve the message and the way people think about Houston, the city of the future. There's so much innovation here. There's so much industry here besides oil and gas and the space industry that is coming through and is on display here as this incredibly diverse city, what is really described as the most diverse city in the United States, and a city that thrives on innovation. This weekend we're doing a major event at the Texas Medical Center. Their medical community here is first class, and really wanted to shine a spotlight on that. And those eyeballs, those impressions, those stories have real value to these communities, and that's great to be able to provide that platform.
Does the ongoing controversy that happens in any community about sales tax abatement and the fact that this could go to other projects if the sales tax money was not forgiven? Obviously, well, first of all, answer the argument. Then second, does it bother you that it keeps popping up city after city?
It doesn't bother me. I understand the scrutiny around that. I think it's fairly clear the positive economic impact that trumps any sales tax abatement there. And from our standpoint, it doesn't bother us at all. We understand the argument. We can handle working through that. But it's clear. And this is as you know well, Rick, this is a very competitive process with a lot of cities bidding each year. It gets more and more competitive every year, and I think you'll see that continuing. And sitting with Mayor Turner yesterday, he very clearly wants Houston as part of the rotation and the list of cities who want to host a Super Bowl. And as we continue to move our events around, the number of cities that want to host an NFL draft, that want to host a Pro Bowl, grows every year. So
obviously bidders are more aggressive than ever before. They see the benefits with new stadiums and construction renovation. So the list of quote-unquote preferred or actual rotation candidates is larger, but also you have the ability to provide Pro Bowl, draft, some other special events that you can rotate around the country as well. Do we have a matrix that talks about what you're going to do over the next 10 years? Is it separate processes? Do you link them together?
It's interesting. We have an ownership committee, the Super Bowl and Major Events Advisory Committee, that spends a lot of time thinking about that. We have a good run of Super Bowls already awarded, obviously headed to Minnesota and the new stadium there, and Atlanta following that, and the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium down in Orlando that will open this year, and then to Miami, and a great renovation down there, and then to the new stadium in Inglewood in Los Angeles. So that's the run. So I think we'll go into the spring and name the finalists for that next set of Super Bowls, and there's strong interest both among the traditional set of Super Bowl hosts, and then, as you said, other more non-traditional hosts are interested as well, whether it's related to new stadiums or not. We look at draft as a bit of a separate process. That's still in its early days. The Super Bowl is so mature in terms of its bidding process. In moving out of New York after 51 years to Chicago for 2 years and then to Philadelphia this April, we're still learning, we're still evolving. But I think we and the commissioners see the opportunity to get the draft around, which is this rite of spring when everyone's got hope. So I think you'll see us looking at moving it around to more cities. You have fewer barriers with the draft because weather is less of an issue, stadium is less of an issue, so there's more opportunity to get it around and reach more fans.
Got it. As one last Super Bowl related question, is it in your interest long term to continue to award multiple Super Bowls at a given time to provide some certainty to people over a longer period of time, or is it better to kind of hold off and see how the climate evolves on a regular basis?
It's an interesting question. I think there's more benefit to getting further out. As Super Bowl gets more complex, as it gets more expensive for both the NFL and for our host committees who are raising a lot of private dollars to ensure Super Bowl success, more lead time is helpful. So I think you'll see that. The counter to that is making sure you have flexibility and you can see out on the horizon whether those are new stadiums coming on or other changes. So overall, you'll see us continuing to push further out, but we've got to have an eye towards where there are shifts in the landscape, where might there be new stadium opportunities which would tie into a Super Bowl game.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-0906. 800-296-0906. 800-296-0906. That's 800-296-0906.
And now for my final take. Is there anybody alive in America that doesn't know that Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and the New England Patriots are Super Bowl champs yet again? Maybe somebody did. 466 passing yards, 5th Super Bowl win, MVP, 4th time he won the award. The bottom line is you're in there with greatness, kind of like being there watching Babe Ruth point to a Wrigley Field bleachers. I wasn't there, but I heard. How about Cal Ripken's Iron Man streak, the Dolphins' perfect season, and on and on. Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe, and growing up around sports, it's one of those feelings where you were just lucky to be in the stadium. As the Super Bowl gets more complex, it's more expensive for the NFL and the host committees. Is it worth it? Well, Peter O'Reilly told us that it was, and we certainly believe it was. Super Bowl 51 at NRG Stadium brought in more than $500 million, but more than that, Rick Campo, the head of the host committee, tells us that it was about 3.5 billion impressions, mentioning of Houston over the week and a half. Money can't buy that. No, money certainly can't, nor can it buy the community pride, not just Boston Strong and Boston Stronger, but Houston Strong now. Direct economic impact, important, but the direct, indirect economic impact, even more. Another winner, NFL International, was Super Bowl 51, resulting in significant international growth. StubHub reported that international ticket demand higher than ever, 10% of total sales coming from purchasers outside the U.S. and as far away as Australia, Hong Kong, Brazil, Israel, and South Africa. 7% of the total event requests from Canada and Mexico. By the way, StubHub ought to know. They have a marketplace that reaches 47 countries around the world. Lastly, in the aftermath of the big game, the NFLPA weighed in. They also said that we're going to opt out after 5 years and maybe before that, but you got to reopen. Players Union making a push for improved equipment, more consistent compliance. There's going to be some issues to sort out before the deal can get done. Luckily, both the NFLPA and owners have plenty of time for discussion at the two parties need to devise a long-term agreement. Well, that's our show for today. We'd like to thank Peter O'Reilly, NFL's Senior VP of Events, and we'd like to thank you for listening. Join us next week once again when we go Beyond the Scoreboard.